What about my love? Seems you have forgotten love. I do believe that something went wrong somewhere. What about my feelings? Do they mean anything at all? You got me so in love, I'm too blind to see. And that you got my love, now you wanna put me down. And that you got my love, got me standing on shaky ground. What about it, baby? What about the days and the nights we spent? What about the love we made so sweet? Are you sure you wanna live? Think it over, baby. 'Cause girl, I believe. I think you just might wanna change your mind. Now that you got my love, you don't even come around. Now that you got my love, got me standing on shaky ground. What kind of way is that to treat your man? When I gave all that I never had, you got me going through changes of life with you. Are you sure you wanna live? Think it over, babe. 'Cause girl, I believe. I think you just might wanna change your mind. Know that you got my love. You don't even come around. Now that you got my love, you got me standing on shaky ground. Yeah. Now that you got my love, you don't even come around. You don't come around. Now that you got all my loving, you got me standing on shaky ground. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Before you leave out the door, before you leave out the door, baby, won't you change your mind? Really wish you would change your mind. Now that you got my love, you don't even come around. Now that you got my love, you got me standing on shaky.
Peace. This is the Touré Muhammad Show, and I'm your host.
I'm Linda Sissy Perez, your co-host of the show that talks to shakers and movers who have knowledge, experience, and resources to help you do for self. This is a solution-oriented show.
Come have a seat. No need to ask. As long as I have a bowl of bean soup, you got half.
Welcome everyone to the Touré Muhammad Show, and get prepared to hear about the greatest story ever told. Right about now, what I'm going to do is tell you all the things that we're into. Okay, 1, Once upon a hurry somewhere in the future, we didn't have to worry if somebody would shoot you. Excellence, yes y'all, we all that. Business, real estate, and actual facts. Actually, that's the tip of it. Financial gifts with it. Spiritual advancement, we're here to uplift. We're here to celebrate your success and give it back so everybody and their mama know where to shop at. You like that? I love that. We do too. You can change your condition when you change you. Yeah, so sit back, relax, and let your conscience be free. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce Brother Touré.
Sometimes I need to listen to me. To help me out.
Yes. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, my brothers and my sisters? Today is the glorious day. It's a brand new day. It's a wonderful day. And I'm so excited to be here on the top side of the earth with you. I hope that you're having a great day so far, too. And as my man, who was that? The congressman out of New York that Charlie Rangel had a book called Every Day Above Ground is a Good Day. Shout out to my people who believe that, as I do, every day above ground is a good day. We are so excited here on the Touré Muhammad Show. You know, we are so pleased. We're so happy and thankful to be here on What's in It for the Black People Media. That absolutely incredible, powerful, and wonderful show. Media platform that is here for you to enjoy, for you to learn, for you to be educated, to you to be inspired and motivated. This is that day, and we are here just excited and as happy as all get out. So here I am. If y'all don't see me, you didn't see me for a minute. I was coming in like the Wiz, like the great Wiz. You heard my voice and didn't see my face, but now you all are blessed. I'm not blessed to see your face, but you can see my face. And as you can see, we're flying solo right now. Our co-host, Linda Perez, is shaking and moving and doing her thing. So we send her our love and our well wishes that her day is going well. And we're looking forward to giving you all a great show today. We got some amazing guests to come on today that will be coming on today. We have Sister Touré Muhammad, of course, is going to give us that Final Call report. Tell us the latest and the greatest from the Final Call newspaper. And shout out to the FOI, the mighty FOI, who are out in the fields, who get out into the fields and take that message, take that word to our people. And shout out to all of the mighty MGT who help and support and assist with that as well. Now, for my Muslim brothers and sisters, Ramadan Mubarak, or should I say Eid Mubarak. This is Ramadan has come to a completion. There will be there's all across the world, Muslims are going to be hosting feasts and festivals and food, sharing food before the evening time today. So wherever you are in the Muslim world and you're celebrating the end of Ramadan, we thank you for being a part of the community and for being a part of Ramadan. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Ramadan, it's a month of fasting. It's a month of sacrifice and prayer and thinking about those who are less fortunate. And at the end of it, of course, there is often a feast. So the ending of Ramadan, which of course is not eating and not drinking during the daylight hours, and a few other things that are not done during the daylight hours. There is a strong attempt to not argue, to not fuss with people, to be more at peace and to find more peaceful solutions to problems. And it's really something that should be carried out beyond just Ramadan. And it's like a, let's say if anybody that's in the military, right, you have a command, but then you also have a preparatory command. The preparatory command gets you prepared for the actual command. If you are in martial arts, you know, sometimes the preparatory command is to get down into the horse stance so that you can do the punch, right? The punch is the command, but you have to be in the horse stance to do it. So Ramadan is like a preparatory command in many ways, not that we would fast and not eat and drink during the daylight hours during the entire year, but the mindset, the focus on thinking about those who are less fortunate, the focus on not being cantankerous and mean and finding unpeaceful solutions to problems, right? All of that. Peace, Brother Shaka, we see you. And so all those things are something that should be carried on, right? And, of course, if you understand those principles, they're not just for the Muslim community, but they are really something that could be a guiding principle for any life, any religion, any way of life, whether it's a religion or not. That idea of focusing on those that are less fortunate and those peaceful solutions to problems could be so valuable in today's world. And everybody is guilty of not doing that in the world. If it wasn't, then we wouldn't see the world in the state that it's in, from the little man to the large governments. Everybody needs to practice and think about really boiling it down. It really is about treating people the way that you want to be treated. So, brothers and sisters, man, we got a great show. Like I said, I believe we do. And we need your participation. We need your feedback. Tell us, comment in the chat section and let us know in the comment section what your thoughts are about what we discuss. But, of course, we want you to please make sure that you like and that you share this broadcast. Like and share. We want you to like and share it, brothers and sisters. Tell a friend that the Touré Muhammad Show is on. And we're going to start off, as usual, with a few announcements. And we want to make sure that we cover some of the important bases that we want to cover for our friends and our family that are in business. So, of course, as always, I always have to remind people, right, that for many years, Brown Sugar Bakery has been making sure that on your birthday, you can come in and get a free cupcake. So I know there's some people that may have had a birthday 2 days ago, 3 days ago, or whatever it is, but I want you to know that today is a day that you can go in there and get you a cupcake from Brown Sugar Bakery. It is that wonderful place providing amazing food, amazing, delicious treats for our community. So get on by there and make sure you do it. Mike Burris, Solution. Mike, we switch black to a third political party for political leverage to move data to increase the quality of life score for black people daily. I think that there definitely needs to be a disruption, Mike, in the political process, and their disruption in the way people are viewing and looking at this political piece that we're in, right? And so having a third party could in some way, I'm sure, ensure that you white. Do they see me? I mean, you know what? That's what I'm saying. I'm good. I don't need to see that. My fault, Ron. So that Mike Burris, I think, is definitely a conversation that needs to be had. And I think that there really should be a comprehensive analysis and a discussion historically, right? How we got to where we are today, and then put those solutions on the table. I think one of them could largely in part be the discussion of a third political party, right? And there also is the discussion that politics without economics is symbol without substance. So as we move in whatever political ways that we move, we got to have the resources, right? We've done a little political stuff over the years. And when I talk to the political strategists, the ones that have put people in office and kept them in office, they talk about the three things that you need just to put somebody in office. And I think this transcends to the discussion around a third political party. You got to have money, you got to have man and woman power, and you got to have a message, right? So those three things are critical to any campaign being successful. And so with that idea in mind, that third political party, I think, can be a part of that discussion as we look at how we can really achieve political power. But we often, try to get to third and second and third base before we take care of first base. And, of course, we got to make sure that we have a plan to get back home. I don't know why I put that baseball analogy in there. But shout out to Mike. I appreciate that comment as we talk about solution, man. We really, really want to be a solution-oriented show and offer those solutions that will help in these discussions with our community. And, stop beating around the bush and stop placating and stop tiptoeing through the tulips. It's time for us to be real, to confront the issues that we face, and to understand that we may have some trepidation, we may have some fear, but if we trust the process, if we first analyze the process and then discuss the process and then create a process that will handle all of the problems that come up and then trust that process, we can find ourselves in a better condition. We've tried everything else but unity. And I think if we focus on unity, not uniformity, but unity, then we'll find ourselves moving in a stronger way, unified and connected in a way that those that have their best interests at heart and not our best interests at heart will be more self-determined, if you will, right? So, but yeah, get by Brown Sugar Bakery, get you a free cupcake, and check out. Make sure you don't miss the opportunity to enjoy Dan's Soul Food and Cafe. They have that $6 holla. They have the it's baked chicken leg and thigh, 2 sides, and a cornbread muffin. You can order through Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats. They're at 2523 West 79th Street, and they're open from 10:30 to 8 daily. And the number to call is 773-737-6695. So check out Dan's Soul Food and Cafe. And we're giving away some other stuff, man. If you get with Sissy's Taco Bar and you text Sissy's Tacos, SISSYS to 844-773-8392, you can get a free taco on your next visit. And they have a new cauliflower taco as well for our people who don't want to eat meat. And if you are plant-based only /vegan, then you can enjoy that with vegan cheese and vegan sour cream if that is what your heart desires. I see you, Mike. That first principle, Kwanzaa. That's right. Unity. We got to try that. We've tried everything else. And so, man, we always talk about our folks over at Sean Michelle's, and I want you to know they have something brand new that is happening. They have connected with Sajda House, right? We had Sister Sajda, Wendy Muhammad on talking about some of the pitfalls that were presented to her by the alderman's office in the 4th Ward. But despite all of that, of course, it continues. And now what they have done, Sean Michelle's Homemade Ice Cream has partnered with the Supreme Bean Pie and the Sajda House to create a new gourmet ice cream in support of the renovation and restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, located 4847 South Woodlawn, right next door to what we call the National House. Some affectionately call it the Black House, but it is the national home of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Is on the corner, and right next to that is the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So now she has purchased that, and now they have created this ice cream. So the ice cream is an infusion of the Supreme Bean Pie with Sean Michelle's Homemade Ice Cream, no fillers, no preservatives, and it includes a special secret ingredient. So I have to tell, man, look, when you eat Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream, you don't have some of that upset stomach that you may have when you eat other ice creams, and a lot of it has to do with those no fillers and no preservatives. So imagine that. I mean, it's frozen, right? So why you need all those fillers and preservatives anyway? But so they're gonna have an event. Black Chicago Eats, Bean Soup Times, Touré Muhammad. We will be in the building or outside the building, depending upon how crowded it is. But we're gonna be there May 14th, tomorrow, from 5 to 8 p.m. to enjoy the introduction of this amazing new ice cream. So, brothers and sisters, if you love bean pie and you love Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream, I'm telling you, this is something unlike ever before. Now, he's had in the past a bean pie type ice cream. This is totally different. This is something new and innovative. So I encourage you all to check out Brother Yaya, Sister Sajda tomorrow from 5 to 8 p.m. for this amazing collaboration that connects conscious entrepreneurs, right, in such a way. These two people, and of course, you really, when you talk Brother Yaya, you can't exclude Sister Nataki, the family-owned business. So, but shout out to her as well. So they have collaborated again to create this ice cream that is going to be part of a way to help renovate and restore. So we'll get them on maybe and talk about the details of it. But all I want you to know is that this ice cream is going to be available starting tomorrow, and you can enjoy this delicious ice cream. So check out the new flavor and be part of those who are up on it before everybody else is up on it. Now, we have another great place to talk about for a quick moment. We got a few minutes, just a few minutes, about 5 minutes before we bring on Sister Touré Muhammad to talk about the latest and the greatest from the Final Call newspaper. But we got to talk about Mary Jane Cafe, located 7112 South Yates, which offers some amazing, delicious food. It is a wonderful place to come and get your Chipotle chicken kebab, your honey jerk salmon kebab, your grilled herb rub lamb kebab, and some amazing desserts and some thirst quenching drinks. So make sure you follow Mary Jane Cafe Chicago on Instagram, Mary Jane Cafe Chicago on Instagram, to be plugged in with all of the wonderful things that they're doing. We're going to be posting stuff on Black Chicago Eats. If you want to, man, get plugged with us, man. We always want to share amazing news and information about Black-owned businesses in our community. So come on and get with us and check it out, brothers and sisters. It is for you. And so with that, we want to shout out Chateau for Men. It's an incredible line of skincare products for men. They have stuff for women too, sisters. Don't trip about that. But we talking about the stuff for the men. So the men in your life who they have a beard, they work out, they got a mustache, whatever it is, or you just want to make sure their skin is clean and fresh, then and healthy, then check out chateau.com, CHATTO.com, and experience some of the great products. I use them on a regular basis. They have a plethora of things for post workout mist. They have stuff for your beard. They have stuff for your skin. They have stuff for shampoo, for beard shampoo, all kind of stuff. So Mama Chateau, she is from West Africa, but she's also been trained formally as an esthetician and skincare. So she uses those together to provide some amazing products just for people of African descent. So check out her, chateau.com, CHATTO.com, or look for her in select Whole Foods. I believe she's in the one on Roosevelt. So that's a few of the announcements, brothers and sisters. And in these next few seconds here, a few minutes, I want to highlight something. Peace, brother Sadiq. We see Tammy Jackson plugged in, and Wanda Taylor, Latoya Bay. We appreciate you all. And but we want to talk about this for a moment. there is, everything changes. Things are fluid, right? Life is like that. Everything must change. And there is now a new group of people looking to purchase homes in our community. Millennials are stepping up to the plate and becoming homeowners, and wanting to become homeowners. There was a moment, I think the statistics said they weren't looking for that, but I don't know if it was the pandemic or if this was already a trend, but there is a more desire of those in that age group to start purchasing homes. And so we want to make sure, and we want to talk to folks and let people know about the basic process, right? Most people don't know the basic process to purchase a home. So the first thing that I want to highlight, brothers and sisters, that you want to identify a real estate agent, a realtor, right? You want to identify someone, and a realtor is a real estate agent, and a real estate agent is not necessarily a realtor. A realtor means that they have been a part of a body and a group, established group that is held to a higher standard of ethics. And, so there are some benefits of that, because if you have any issues, then you have a group to bring your concern to. But again, a realtor has a higher standard of ethics that you can appreciate and know that they're going to be looking out for your best interest. Now, this whole process, right, you're going to have not just a realtor, but you're going to have a variety of people that you're going to need to be on your team to help you purchase your home, right? You're going to need lender. You're going to need an inspector. You're going to need an appraiser, right? You got to deal with title companies, right? So there's a few things that you have to know, and you want to have those resources ready so that you're not in the moment of needing them. And some of these things are very timely, and you don't want to be searching around for someone at the last minute. So you get that realtor, and that realtor, if you don't have some of these team members in place already, the realtor can help you put those people in place, right? And then once you, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is you're going to have to decide how you're going to purchase this home. Is it going to be cash, or is it going to be a loan, a mortgage, right? And times are changing right now. I'm seeing all this stuff on Instagram and Facebook. It looked like it's a lot of people ready to buy the bag. They got the bag already, so they ready to pay cash. And if you can't pay cash, then, you pay that cash. But if you need to get a loan and get a mortgage to get that property, then you're going to, of course, now you want to look for that lender. That's the next step in the process. You get that lender. The lender's going to help you determine and understand what you can afford, right? And in general, you want to get a home that is half. If you look at what your full income is, your income. Oh, we got to go to this break. I'm going to break this down for you when we come back. But we're going to go through that whole process before the show is over. If we don't, we'll get back to it next week. But we got to take a break right now. Then we're going to have our first guest on, Sister Touré Muhammad. So we'll be right back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show.
WIIFTBPM.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
What are y'all takes on blended families?
Meaning white people? Or what? No, she mean like you got kids, this person got kids, y'all get together and bring the whole family together. I don't know. I have zero experience with it. I imagine it could be challenging. Especially, I think the older the children are, I think the more challenging it could be. I think if it's little children or something, you can kind of explain it to them, and they may like grow up together and kind of in that same space where this is mom, this is dad type thing. But if you talk about older kids where they literally have a mom or dad, another person like that has been in their lives, when they're older, and you're like, oh, now this is your stepbrother, stepsister. Like, nah, we like 17. Like, I'll bone her.
And if this family don't work, you can just give me to the game anyway. Ain't no other, it ain't gonna matter. No woman will ever be important. I'm not being an ass. I'm serious. In my mind, the value of that kind of a commitment is family. I got that already. So now we just chilling. So you ain't gonna really know my children.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's In It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Rogers, let me ask a question. Do either that son or your grandson smell like transmission fluid? We trying to find Ruthie a husband. You funny ladies.
Trying to find Ruthie a husband.
We trying to find Ruthie a husband.
You heard that good,
Let me ask you, Rogers, what does Ruthie need to do to find her husband?
I listen to her little voice. I like that little passing voice she got.
Hey, she say...
I know you kind of small, ain't you?
She said you got a pension?
Huh?
She said you got a pension?
Look here. I'm coming down to the... Where you on station located at? Where y'all located?
We down here in Bronzeville. Look, this is what we gonna do. We gonna get you. We gonna do a love connection off the line. Rogers, I want to tell you, man, thank you so much for calling.
You all downtown somewhere?
Yeah, we downtown. I'm gonna put
y'all talking about it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get the address. I'm gonna come into y'all station one morning.
We gonna have you come down. We gonna have you and Ruthie, and we gonna have you sit
I'm
right
an early bird anyway.
Ruthie, you can be the grandmama, the great grandmama of over 110 children.
I love big families.
You know what I'm saying? 110.
I don't know what you did, but you did it right. Girl, you make it look so easy. Everywhere you go, heads turning left and right. Can't say you a dime, you're a 20-piece. 'Cause girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me don't let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got not over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put that glow on. Why you gotta look so good, with your hair done, nails done, when you put that glow on. Why you gotta look so good? I can look and see you're not an average chick. You're shutting it down everywhere you go. Girl, I want you as bad as I want a check. 'Cause you're sexy from head to toe. Girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me I'll let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got not over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put your grown on.
All right.
Put your name back on.
Oh, hold on. Where we go? All right, we are back. More of the Touré Muhammad Show. And we are here with a wonderful young lady who is, a consistent contributor to the show, giving us the latest and the greatest from the Final Call newspaper, Sister Starla Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Touré and Eid Mubarak.
Oh, we can't hear you, Sister Starla. Take yourself off mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see here.
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Kareem. One moment here, my brother.
There you go. I can hear
Can
you
you hear
now.
me now?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
I'll play you 12. Sorry about that. Am I coming through loud and clear?
Loud and clear. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, praise is due to Allah. Yes, sir. Eid Kareem. We made it. All praise is due to Allah through the holy month of Ramadan.
Yes, absolutely. This was a very reflective and wonderful Ramadan for me. It's
Yes.
always a wonderful Ramadan, whether I am 100% in following through with the process or not. There's always such a reward because you always are focusing more on prayer. You're focusing more on thinking of others, and you focus a lot more on how you interact with people. So, no road rage during the month of Ramadan. So we're going to try to continue that. And
exactly.
And I don't have that serious road rage, but it's still that under my breath. you so and so.
You know,
And I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna give you that blank stare. But that's much calmer than it used to be. So, but anyway, Sister Starla, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, Brother Touré. I mean, I'm feeling refreshed. I too had a very, wonderful Ramadan, and it just gives those of us who, participate in this holy month this time to kind of get back on our square, recalibrate, set some goals and some objectives. So I'm feeling wonderful. All praises due to Allah. And I don't know if you were able to hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan this morning on the Ramadan prayer line, but he imparted but it is out there. So for those of you who want to check it out, you can on SoundCloud go to Ramadan Prayer Line 2021. The minister this year opened the Ramadan prayer line with some beautiful words of inspiration and guidance, and then closed the prayer line earlier this morning with additional guidance, and it was just a wonderful program. So I, like you, Brother Touré, I'm like, okay, let me stay consistent, let me stay on my square. It's not the day after Ramadan and the festivities end, we can't go back to where we were. So
that's right.
That'll be the challenge. But if we accept that challenge, we'll be all right.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And this is right now. Let's talk about this. Now, this is my personal reflection. The month after Ramadan, or really the week or two after Ramadan, is a tremendous trial, right? Because my mindset now is, okay, I can eat a little bit earlier, right? And even though I didn't starve during Ramadan, my mindset is I need to eat a little bit more, right? So I have a tendency to gain a little weight the month after Ramadan. So,
yes, sir.
So now it's really the time to focus on keeping that discipline and exercising and moving the body, so that, like you say, you don't fall into something that, sometimes you may end up with more weight on you and more pressure than you need to have on you, physically and mentally, because you're not in that better state of mind that you were during Ramadan.
Exactly.
You can't be thinking about the people that you wanted to cuss out during Ramadan. Now you want to cuss them out.
For 30 days, I didn't say anything, but now.
Right. That's not what's intended.
Exactly. And, to continue, of course, being consistent with acts of kindness and service, to the community, that's something that even after the conclusion of Ramadan, that we should strive to continue, making our communities safe and decent places to live. So
that's right.
I was just relieved that for the first time this morning, I didn't have to drink my coffee at 3:45 a.m. I could drink it a little bit later in the morning.
Yes.
I know I know a couple of people during Ramadan, they actually give up coffee, but I'm too much of a coffee person. So I'm at 3:45, Brother Touré, during Ramadan, drinking some hot coffee. But praises due to Allah. It was a wonderful 30 days, and I'll just strive to continue.
Absolutely. Me as well. So, what's going on? What's the latest and the greatest from the Final Call newspaper? Of course, it's always something timely and important. So, what's happening?
Well, this week, we have a beautiful, beautiful cover featuring the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the title of this issue, The Truth About Farrakhan, Why We Celebrate His Life, His Commitment, Why We Love Him, and Why We Will Not Allow False Propaganda and Lies to Go Unchecked. And so, of course, May 11th was the 88th birth anniversary of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he actually gifted the world on that day by performing. It was actually a performance from 19 years ago at the Cerritos Center in Los Angeles, where the minister played Beethoven's concerto. And it is one of, for those of you who are classical music enthusiasts or know anything about classical music, it is said that this particular piece that the minister played on his violin is one of the most, if not the most complex pieces of music out there. And so
That's
for
right.
years, even though he performed this a couple of decades ago, the recording, the video had to be remastered. There were some machinations that went on, which is the reason why for all of this time it wasn't made public, but it debuted on May 11th. And so you can check that out for your viewing audience. If you go onto ministersmusic.com, ministersmusic.com, then you will be able to look at this beautiful, beautiful performance. The quality of the video, the sound and everything was pristine. It literally I was looking through the comments, Brother Touré, during the performance, and people were just talking about how moved they were. And for some people, it's still a surprise. They never knew that the minister is a violinist and that his background is music, but it's a wonderful and beautiful performance. So again, you can check that out on ministersmusic.com. I think when I logged on there this morning, the performance already had about 40,000 views, but it was beautiful. And I think, for those who maybe are not students of music, there is also some commentary by one of the minister's violin instructors. And she talked about and shared that, the dedication and the work that the minister put into preparing for this performance. And the fact is, he had not played the violin prior to that for several years, but for him to be able to pick back up this complex instrument and to be able to prepare for a performance of this magnitude is nothing less than extraordinary. So again, ministersmusic.com, for those who have not had an opportunity to watch this performance, I promise you will be moved. I was getting misty-eyed during the performance, and I'm not one who is necessarily a student of classical music, but just the facial expressions, you could tell the minister just loved performing that particular piece of music. And of course, Beethoven was a brother.
That's right.
So
That's right.
that made it all the more special. So I encourage your viewing audience to check it out.
Sister Starla, I recall as a young FOI, I did security at the palace, at the National House. And my security post was from 10 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning. And do you know, I guess around 11 o'clock, the lights would go out in the house. And then at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, the lights would come back on. And I could hear the minister practicing the violin. Now I'm assuming, right? I knew he talked about practicing, and so I'm assuming it was him in the house, right? I that's the only person I could imagine that it was, right? So, but I just want to be transparent. I heard violin, and it was amazing to me. My takeaway was that with all of the other responsibilities and duties that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had in working on behalf of our people and running the Nation of Islam, that he didn't shortchange any of that, but he sacrificed sleep to practice for 2 or 3 hours, the violin in the middle of the night to master what we saw in that performance, that on May 11th. And that stuck with me. And I still at times find myself getting up late or staying up late at night saying, okay, if I don't have the time during the day, then sleep has to be sacrificed to perfect what you're doing.
Exactly. And the minister, after the performance, he talked about, of course, it was his beautiful mother, Mother Samaya Farrakhan, who, he said, told him, she came home one day with the violin, you're going to play this. And I believe the minister's brother, Alvin, I believe she told him you were going to play the piano.
Right, that's
but
right.
he
That's
talked
right.
about just even as a young boy, the time he spent practicing. And then as an adult, as you just said, he would spend hours and hours and hours honing his craft. And so it's really a testament to putting your mind to something to be
That's
able to
right.
accomplish greatness. And so, the reason, of course, we wanted to feature him on this current issue of the paper. And of course, you can read the article by Brother Touré Muhammad on
Yes.
finalcall.com. Brother Touré is a student minister in Memphis, Tennessee at Mosque number 55. He is also, we call him affectionately the research minister. He's written and authored several books, and he is also a member of the Nation of Islam research team. So in the article, Brother Touré just really talked about, and what we wanted to explore is just the minister's magnificent life and his work over these past several decades, his sacrifices. And we don't do it to be a cheerleader in the corner and yay, Minister Farrakhan. And we're not, we're not fanatics. We're not, fans, but we wanted an opportunity to present the minister, not only in the line of history and great Black men on this planet, but also through the lens of scripture.
Come on.
Of who he is, the sacrifices that he has made, the sacrifices that his beautiful wife, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, and their children and the Farrakhan family have made
That's right.
on behalf of Black people. And so it's a beautiful article. Again, you can read it on finalcall.com, but we just really wanted an opportunity to present to our readers a more in-depth look at the minister, his sacrifice, his life, and his work. I mean, just a few years ago, Brother Touré, and you were part of it, at 80 years old, the minister led the FOI into the streets of Chicago.
That's right.
To try
Chicago,
to
New York,
encourage. Exactly.
LA.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
And so, the sacrifices he has made, then we want to, at any point in time where there's any type of pushback against him, we have to be the ones to rise up and to defend him, because he has been our greatest defender. He loves us in spite of some of the things that we do.
Yes.
He's always encouraging us to do better. He will chastise us when he sees that we are out of bounds, because he knows the God in each and every one of us. So
that's right.
Definitely check out the current issue of the paper featuring the minister on the cover, and this wonderful article by Brother Touré Muhammad.
And I think that there's a very important principle that I think that our family, that we have to embrace, right? And it's one of, when you know someone has been steadfast and has been a part of your community, helping to improve and uplift your community, you should never allow someone from outside the community dictate how you feel or what you say publicly about that one that has been a standard bearer in our community. Even if you don't agree with everything that mama does, that's your mama. And Ain't nobody gonna come in your house and talk about your mama, right? That's your father. Nobody can come in your house and talk about your father when you know your father is a good and decent person. And until we learn that principle and have, I think we know it, but there's some of us that don't have the internal fortitude, right, to stand up against people who want to influence from outside of our community. And whether it's the threat of loss of money, whether it's the threat of loss of relationships, or whatever it is, we have to be comfortable in who we are and know who is for us and who is against us. And I know there's, of course, I could be alluding to Damon John. I could be alluding to the pressure that our brother, what's his name, the actor
Lakeith Stansfield.
Lakeith Stansfield is under. But, regardless of what you feel about everything the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, you cannot question his love and his sincerity and his commitment to our community. And it reminds me of when I was working in a diverse environment, and someone who was in leadership in this company, in this organization, began to talk disparagingly about one of our leaders. And I'm not going to say that person's name, but they thought that there was a mixed crowd, right? And I guess they thought I was going to chime in with them. Now, let me be real clear. The critique they gave, Sister Starla, I agreed with it. I agreed with the critique they gave, but this was a non-black person. And so my response was that regardless of what you think, this man has been has been a strong advocate for our community, and he has opened up doors for many. And if he is able to secure some money and resources for himself and his family in the process, I'm okay with that.
Yes, sir.
And he looked at me, and then he kind of frowned for a quick second, and he smiled, and he said, I understand. And, and so he knew that he didn't have someone in me that was going to be critiquing someone in our community with someone outside our community.
Right. And I think, and you brought up, Damon John, of course, who's now on Shark Tank. Prior to that was one of the founders of FUBU. For those of us who can remember when FUBU was the trend, especially during those, it was 1990s hip hop. FUBU, Carl Kanai, Cross Colors.
Yes.
All of and he was a co-founder of that brand for us, by us. And of course, he paid the minister a compliment when the minister spoke at DMX's homegoing service a couple of weeks back. And all he did was pay the minister a compliment. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, he's getting blasted on Twitter. And then almost as soon as, the compliment went out there, he was backtracking. But again, you have to ask yourself a question. What is it about this man that people don't want you to get close to him and to learn about him? Even to take a photograph with him or to pay him a compliment on some wisdom that he shares to the benefit of not just Black people, but for the benefit of humanity.
That's right.
And the first thing that, folks want to do is, well, wait a minute, we need to dictate to you who you can and can't listen to. It's a very paternalistic attitude. And another article in the current issue of the paper, Brother Touré, is about our brother Lakeith Stanfield, who was, for those who are familiar with this Clubhouse app, he was asked to basically moderate a session with regards to the relationship between the Black community and members of the Jewish community. There were rabbis, there were Nation of Islam student ministers who were part of this dialogue. And, all Mr. Stanfield did was sit in, even though he was asked to moderate. People were saying he really wasn't saying anything. He was just there listening. But he was blasted just for being in the room. But if these are conversations, and they're difficult conversations, but conversations that are needed to be had, then one of our prominent actors or what have you joins in on that conversation, and all of a sudden it becomes a problem. So Brother Touré Muhammad, who is our illustrious editor-in-chief of The Final Call, has a great column, his Straight Words column in the current issue of the paper, and the title is The Crucifixion of Lakeith Stanfield. So again, you can check that out on finalcall.com as well.
Sister Starla, this reminds me of the history. And I think that, this oftentimes people try to push back on history because we think it is only the past, right? But we have to reflect on history so that we can see the parallels for today.
Exactly.
And, it should make our blood boil to a certain degree when we read the history about how black people, it was a law that we could not congregate and have meetings without a white person in the room, right? We should understand the history of not being able to have a church meeting. We couldn't even worship the Creator without a white person present, right? Because in their minds, if we got together and started talking amongst ourselves, we may discover some moments of courage, right? And began to organize in a way that is not in the benefit of them. So they have to always have their hand in our conversations. So when it came out with DMX, that was one of them moments. It's not as, of course, it's not as cut and dry and subtle, but it was like you weren't at the funeral and you weren't honoring DMX, but you have something to say about someone who said nothing of good for brother DMX, right? So even if you didn't like the minister, what right do you have to comment on it, especially in that context, right? We can give you a little leeway if you're commenting about something that you feel was said about you, but here it is, you weren't even in you weren't even part of the room, right? But and then with Lakeith, it's the same thing. Now, of course, people who understand, and you broke it down well, but I'm going to give a little bit more context, right? With Clubhouse, I can hop into a room on Clubhouse, and if there is a group of people in there who are already the moderator, and they either like your profile picture or they recognize your name as someone they think that has influence, they can make you a moderator immediately, and you now are the moderator of a discussion that you did not start, nor do you know what the entire context is, right? And that's how he was a moderator, correct?
Right. Exactly. And one of the things that I think stands out in Brother Naba's column is the fact that, number one, this was a room on the Clubhouse app that a discussion that lasted for 11 hours.
That's amazing.
And he says, Lakeith, for the most part, simply listened. And sitting and listening was the reason why he was bombarded with horrible, one-sided media coverage, called disgusting names, and forced to apologize. He had to apologize for being in a space where there was a serious and candid conversation.
Listen, we got to take a quick break. Hold that thought. We got to come back to that. We're going to take a quick break and shout out to brother Mark D. Muhammad. He shouted you out. He's tuning in, and we'll be right back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show after these messages.
WIIFTBPM. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Dangerous show in the morning.
The Fraternal Order of Police. It is the president, John J. Catanzara Jr.
We all saw the Anjanette Young video.
Naturally, when someone hears, I didn't do it, you got the wrong place, you just discard it. You have an obligation to make sure that the rest of the place that you're doing a search warrant on is secure.
Okay, so you used the word naturally. And when you watch that video, naturally, a natural reaction would have been to provide her with some coverage for her naked body.
Have you ever been to police?
And so
have you ever been to police?
Let me finish my question. So a natural reaction was not what we saw from those white police officers.
A natural police reaction is to secure the scene.
So a natural police reaction is different from a natural
Well, we're talking about police. We're not talking about you going into a building. We're talking about the police going into a building.
Hence why in the beginning of the question, I related it to training. Are police officers trained to not see black people as human? And so police training would make them naturally react to see me as an animal?
I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer because that's just an ignorant statement to make. They went in there looking for an offender
who was not there.
Do you know that until you searched the whole place?
They did. They searched, and she stood there naked.
And at that point,
after they had the scene secure, she still stood there naked.
Again, I already conceded the fact that they could have did a better job covering her up, but her race had nothing to do with it, and you're going to keep implying it. I'm going to keep telling you you're absolutely wrong.
Let me ask you a question. Of training? Is it a lack of proper training?
No.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. We will kill you for our woman.
Check, 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 check.
Oh, please, don't you rock my boat. 'Cause I don't want my boat to be right. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat. Oh, no, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. I'm telling you just, you've done for me. Oh yeah, I'm happy inside all of the time.
All right. We are back, brothers and sisters. We are back with the Touré Muhammad Show, and we are talking to Sister Starla Muhammad, the managing editor of the Final Call newspaper. And so let's continue with that point you were making with Lakeith.
Yes, sir. So again, this is in this week's Final Call newspaper by Brother Naba Muhammad, editor-in-chief, in his Straight Words column. And he is talking about the crucifixion of Lakeith Stansfield, who, of course, is actor probably best known for his role in Get Out, and then, of course, his standout role in the film Judas and the Black Messiah. And so on this Clubhouse app, he was in a room that was talking about the relationship between Blacks and Jews in this country. And for the most part, he was just listening, even though he was invited to be a moderator. Mm-hmm. So Brother Naba points out in his article that he was just sitting and listening, talking about Lakeith. Even days after the discussion, he was still branded with the modern scarlet letter of anti-Semite, despite Jews who know him declaring Lakeith is in no way a hater of Jewish people. The public flogging of Lakeith Stansfield and his forced apology is another episode in the paternalistic Black-Jewish non-relationship. It is another incident where some Jews refuse to accept or debate how their behavior hurts Black people. So again, this is a brother who was just listening to the dialogue like many other people were. Again, this was a dialogue, a conversation that involved members of the Nation of Islam, Jewish rabbis, others in the Jewish community, but Lakeith Stansfield gets lambasted just for having a presence there. So again, if we're going to have these frank and candid conversations, then, there has to be a point where this paternalistic attitude toward Black people, when we express, look, this is the damage that has been done by your people. Here are specific examples. And then we're basically told, well, no, that's, you're anti-Jewish or you're an anti-Semite just for saying that. If anything, when things like this happen, kind of reinforces a point that, members of the Jewish community wield power and influence if you can force an apology out of someone who really has nothing to apologize for. I'm just sitting in the room listening, and all of a sudden I'm getting called these names. So now I feel I have to come out with a statement, or I can't compliment the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It happened to our sister Tamika Mallory, who was lambasted, raked over the coals. And she was recently on another show where she talked about, look, I'm not going to, denigrate or talk bad about the minister, about a Black man. So she has actually weathered the storm. And I think there's a lot of lessons that can be learned from her stance when it comes to her standing with the minister and folks coming after her. And she weathered that storm. So, Damon John and others could take a page out of Tamika Mallory's book.
That's right. And, for me, I'm always connecting it to very simple principles and ideas that I think the average person can relate to. Right. So let's say you go, Nick Cannon got the Wild Now, the little comedy show. Right. And and he's another one, too. Right. But
yes, sir.
On the show. Right. They bring on different celebrities. And the one thing he asked them before they get started, because some of them have some controversial things happening, he say, is anything off limits? And they say no. I'm sure that was probably already determined, right, that they would say nothing is off limits. But if you're going to come into a certain platform, you can't decide the parameters on the discussion before the discussion starts. And this is what often happens with people outside of our community when they want to have a discussion with us around some serious issues. Well, okay, don't talk about this, and okay, don't bring this person into the room, and okay, or like certain members have said about Minister Farrakhan, I want you got to apologize first before we can sit down and talk. No, that's what the discussion is about. Right. To determine who needs to apologize to whom. Right. Exactly. So, and we see it happening over and over again. So if that's a simple thing, right, just for jokes, then of course for serious discussion, we can't have these parameters around the discussion before the discussion starts. Shout out to Scott Stewart and Eric Mays who's tuning in. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and I think as well, the minister has said for years, if there's anything that he said that is not correct, then point it out to him. But I think that we have to understand that there is a history here that has been carrying over for decades. And I think, for those who may not know, where this whole issue even started, I know we've written about it extensively in previous issues of the Final Call newspaper, but when the minister came to the defense of Reverend Jackson, who was running for president, in 1984, and basically said, look, don't harm this brother, and then, we're not going to stand for that to happen. And then Reverend Jackson made a comment describing a neighborhood in New York that was a predominantly as a anti-Semite as well. But this whole history of where this kind of started is something that goes back for decades. So before people want to kind of fast forward ahead as to what they think is happening, do the research in terms of, how this controversy actually started. And it started because the minister came to the defense of Reverend Jackson, who was running for president and who was getting death threats to himself and his family. And so members of the FOI, the Food of Islam, secured Reverend Jackson and his family.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. And history and context is so important in these conversations. And I think that that is why there is, such a, like Brother Dimitri's article, I think highlights a very important point. And this kind of, I think, speaks to the concern, the real concern that folks who want to attack the minister have. Dimitri talked about the Muslim influence of black Muslims and Moors that were captured and brought here to America, who were in the forefront of fighting for liberation and were at the forefront of what you call them, escapes and
Right.
battles, right, against the slave master and the oppressor. And because of the one of the cardinal principles that we have is that a Muslim has is they fear no one or nothing but Allah.
Right.
And you can't make a slave out of someone who only fears God. So they
Right.
have to separate, they had to separate us from God in order to make us into slaves. And so here you have a man who, beyond anybody's criticism, has shown and proven that God is on his side and that God has been strengthening him. And he doesn't look, even at 88 years old, he doesn't look weary and beaten down and
Exactly.
worn. He doesn't look as if he is as absent of life. And you looking at him and saying, oh man, any day now, right? You see strength. You see consistent courage and unbending strength. And so they don't want us to be connected as masses to that kind of spirit and energy, because then we really can say, even as Marcus Mosiah Garvey said, up you mighty nation, you can accomplish what you will.
Exactly. And the work of the Nation of Islam and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his top student, Minister Farrakhan, we have a 90-year track record of cleaning up Black men and women, those who may have been addicted to drugs or alcohol or were doing things that were negative in the community, heard a word, a transformative word, and that word sparked in themselves, I want to turn my life around. Doesn't mean that we are perfect and that we don't have our challenges and that we don't have an uphill road, but the transformative and redemptive power of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is something that I think for those who have maybe Muslims in their family or friends, and you've seen the change that has come over someone who, wait a minute, I used to run the streets with this person. We used to get into all kinds of mess together. And now, you wearing a suit and a tie, and sisters
Well, I said that about me, Sister Starla.
got their hair covered. What's going on? And I think as well, man, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, inspire in us just, the ability, or not the ability, but it inspires in us, wanting to be better people, better for ourselves, for our family, for our friends, for our community. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the words and the guidance that he shares and has shared and continues to share has literally saved the lives of thousands of people around the world. There are testimonies for those, from those who say, look, the minister, I was on the pit about to take my own life because things were just that bad. But I heard a lecture. I heard part of a lecture from Minister Farrakhan and decided to, turn my life around. So, this man has sacrificed for decades. He's in no ways tired, and we should continue to hear him, listen to him, and to benefit from this man who is a man of God for the redemption of not only Black people, but for oppressed people all around the world.
That's a fact. Absolutely a fact. And Sister Starla, this one is not in the final call, but I wanted to highlight this because I think it just came out. Yesterday, there was a report in the Chicago Sun-Times and other publications about Chicago police have started a secret drone program using untraceable cash. And they have this drone program used from money seized from drug raids and other criminal investigations. And we're not talking about just a few dollars. We're not talking about some chump change, but we're talking about roughly $7.7 million has been spent on a drone campaign. And I don't know what they're using them for, because they seem to not be actually finding the real shooters, and a lot of times the crimes that we want solved, they're not solving those crimes. So what are they doing with these drones, and where are they showing up?
Exactly. And I didn't get a chance to research this extensively. I saw like a little a blurb about it, and Chicago, from my understanding as well, is one of the most surveilled cities, not just in the United States, but in the world. Mm-hmm. So you just mentioned all of these shootings that are happening, and you've got these cameras, whether it's the red light cameras and other type of cameras. But if Chicago is one of the most surveilled cities in the world, then I think the question can legitimately be raised then, okay, well, what's happening? Why are so many of these violent crimes, not being solved? And of course, there's an element to the fact that, hey, if there's, witnesses for whatever reason who are not coming forward, we know that helps in an investigation. But if you are dealing in a situation that you've got cameras mounted on corners, and now you've got, drones, and who knows the capability of these drones? I mean, they could be however many feet up and could be able to pinpoint an ant, right? Crawling on the ground on 79th and Cottage. So, with that type of technology, it's going to be interesting to find out what are they saying that they're really using this for, and should we believe them when they say this is what we're using it for?
That's right. So, I think that there's a connection. I think there's a connection in the mentality between this story and the other stories that we're talking about. There's a paternal, we want to know what you're doing, who you with, what conversations you're having, and whether it's on Clubhouse, whether it's on the block, we want to be able to intervene in that which we think is not in the best interest of the oppressor, right? Not in the best interest of the city, but in the best interest of the oppressor. And we're going to have some conversations. I want to dig down and talk about this real estate and this home ownership piece, right, real soon, because we can talk about the homeowner, right, who stood out with other homeowners to put pressure on the black person who had just moved into the neighborhood to get them out and to let them know that they're not wanted. And I think sometimes we think that it's only some misplaced citizens, white citizens who, did not want you in a certain neighborhood. Right. But through this book that one of our listeners, Boosie, I think it was Boosie, referred me to, the Color of Law. And it talks about real estate, and it talks about how it was not just the individual community homeowner, but it was policy of the United States government, federal. It was policy on a local level that resulted in so many segregated communities across the country. And of course, Chicago being one of the most segregated. So all of us who make our decision, in the past to live on the south side or the west side, it wasn't just our decision. That was the places we were given, right? And even the suburban areas, in most cases, right, it is certain suburbs, right? That are allocated. And there was even one about Arlington Heights. I was listening to how Arlington Heights didn't want black folks out there. So I think that context is important. What's that? Right.
And then even the role of the banks, and
yes,
black being disproportionately charged higher interest rates, got the same income as a white family.
Yep.
Everything equal on the financial side, but yet, the loan either gets denied or we get charged a higher interest rate. That all ties in with that as well. And even when it comes to the valuation or the dollar amount of homes when you're trying to sell, there was a story, I can't remember what city it was in, but this sister homeowner wanted to sell her home.
Mm-hmm.
And what she ended up doing is she got an offer that she felt was awfully low. So what she decided to do is she took pictures down of her family.
Right.
That she had up around her home. And I think in this particular case, she put up photos of like a white friend.
Yep.
Swapped out her photos for photos of her white friend and their family. And the offer came back. It was much, much higher. So, all of that ties together.
Yep, that's right. And so look at this, Sister Starla. So we're talking about stuff that is not by accident, right? So just like you said, the two households, one has a higher interest rate, so they have to work harder, right? So when one community, you could have a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, whatever the case is, and in the other community, both parents have to work. So now remember when it was the big conversation was about latchkey children, latchkey kids, all these children at home alone, right? And the undertone was it was black children, right? It was Latino children who are at home alone because both parents are out working, or one person may have been a single parent, so they have to work 2 and 3 jobs to keep up with that mortgage. Those types of things had the high interest rate, the bank charge, not only impacted the person and the home and the equity, but it impacted the entire family in a negative way. And I was even listening to in the Color of Law, that there was so let's say after World War I and World War II, right? If you were a veteran, then you could get a home, no money down, and start building equity. Right. But that was the pathway for white veterans.
Right.
Many black veterans were denied, not by the VA, but by the bank on that loan. Right. So they remained renters. Right. So now when those two families, one black, one white, raised their children, and it was time for the children to go to college, the white family could take out equity in their home and pay for that child's education, where the renter, the black family, could not do that, either had to take out student loans and now start their children off with a debt to get an education, or they didn't go to college at all, right? So, and now they have nothing even after, paying for college that they can continue to build that equity with. So when we look at now 2 generations later, right, that family has nothing that they have, that family has no generational wealth that's being produced, the black family, while the white family was able to now maybe have 2 or 3 homes.
Exactly.
Right? By paying off one, taking out a loan and getting another one. Right. So this stuff is residual. Right. And until we address the systemic aspect of it and do what our premier leaders, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we could point in many ways to the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, do something for yourself. Right. And of course, we have some other ones. We have the Booker T. Washingtons, and we have others that have been advocating for this. And we just have to do it, right? Because there's no other choice. At every angle that we look at, they have been systematically keeping us in a certain position.
You're right, Brother Tory. And there's also, too, you had mentioned being a homeowner versus being in an apartment. And there's a certain, I think, mentality that comes with, if I'm owning a home, something that when I pay it off is going to be mine, versus I'm paying someone else, rent, year after year, how much could I have been able to save and maybe put a down payment on a home, but because of all of these other factors, financial and otherwise, it's prohibiting me from even doing that. So now I'm stuck in this cycle. So now my children, my grandchildren, as opposed to, aspirations of, what, I actually want to own a home, maybe a couple of homes, or maybe purchase a 3-unit building and I'm living in one and renting out the other 2. It really helps to cement.
That's right.
A mindset of, well, maybe it's just not for me, when it's
Right.
the exact opposite.
Right. That's right. That's absolutely right. Brothers and sisters, this is a great conversation. I always enjoy talking to you. And I think that if we can take the information and we start building some mini movements, right? Where we can, even if it's just a few people, right, who come together, and let's look at, right, some farmland. Let's look at some spaces in some places, even if it's a group of family members, right? Go in on that 3 flat, right? We got to just start having the conversations and opening up our people's mind to what the possibilities are, because those possibilities are endless when we start dialoguing and start talking about how we can work together to do it, right? It's nothing that has to stop a college student, right, from getting with a couple other college students and figuring out a loan and getting a house, right, or getting a 3 flat, or getting some space where they can all not only be renting it out, not living in it, but renting it out, and possibly making some actual income while they're in college, right? Imagine having a 3 flat and having two or three tenants in there, right. So, but we're not thinking like that, and we gotta let our people know, because I think that in many ways, the constant police brutality, the constant highlighting of how we're being oppressed without the discussion about what the solution is and what we can do to overcome it. For some of our people, it leaves them feeling as though there's no way out. And we have to let them know that there is a future and a way to do this if we work together and we strive as hard as we can to not have fear. And there's, fear decreases with numbers, right?
Right.
Right. If you get into a fight and it's 100 of y'all out there, you feel a little bit better than if it's just 2 of you all.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, Sister Starla, we're at the end of this break. We got another great guest. I don't know if you know Sister Ilyasa with Illy Sweet Shop, but she's going to come on and talk about her delicious products. We've heard so much about it, so we're looking forward to talking to her. She is a young entrepreneur who is doing her thing, and so we're excited to talk to her in just a few minutes. So we're going to take this break, and we're saying Assalamu alaikum and Eid Mubarak to you, and we're going to be right back with our Sister Ilyasa Muhammad and more of the Touré Muhammad Show after these messages.
WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me.
Since 2018, nearly 3,000 tax credit scholarships have been awarded to Black students in Illinois to attend private schools that best fit their needs. Now, Governor Pritzker wants to slash this program. In a time of much uncertainty, we need greater equity in education for our families and children, not less. Call your state representative and senator and urge them to stand up for our kids and their future by supporting the tax credit scholarship program. For more information, visit empoweredillinois.org.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Week events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Week members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Well, since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. But won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. I hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. And are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair.
All right. Ryan back there crooning, boy. Hey, listen, we are back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show. Ilyasa, turn your camera the long way. Turn your camera. Can you hear me? Turn your camera the long way. There we go. Yes, there we go. All right. So, listen, brothers and sisters, I'm so excited about our next guest. Let me first of all say that I am a fan and of her husband. That's my man. I love him and watched him grow up. And, I've seen her here and there, but I got so excited about her product. She has some amazing desserts. And for those of us who were not born in the Nation of Islam, but decided to become a member of the Nation of Islam, we grew up with a variety of things. And as a child, rice cakes were something that I always enjoyed whenever I could have one. But when I came into the Nation of Islam and started being, I thought I was a Muslim anyway because I was hanging with the moles on the block. But anyway, that's another story, right? But when I became a real practicing Muslim and I'm learning about where pork is, it was in rice cakes. And I said, oh, man, I can't have them anymore. So I haven't had one in years. And then I heard about halal
Yes.
rice cakes from Ilyasa Muhammad. So assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak, and welcome to the Touré Muhammad Show.
Thank you, sir.
Man, so tell us about Illy's Sweet Shop. I've been hearing so many great things, and I'm telling you that before this day is out, I'm ordering me some because I have to taste them too. I'm looking forward to hearing about this journey that you've been on since what, 2017?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell us about how this got started. What was your motivation and where it's going?
Well, I started a little bit after my oldest son is turned about 2 years old. I was a little flustered because I was a new wife, I was a new mom, and I'm like, okay, like, what else am I gonna do? Like, I wanted to feel more fulfilled. Like, I was grateful for my responsibilities, but I wanted something more, So I love to cook. So I created this Rice Krispie treat. Everybody loves Rice Krispie treats. So I'm like, this is something easy I can make, but in a healthier way. So I just started playing around with the recipes, and I was like, okay. And I would let my family taste it, and they were like, oh my God, Illy, this is so good. And I'm like, it's a business. I'm about to do that. I'm about to turn it into a business. So that's how that started. But my motivation was definitely my son, my children. I'm like, I want to create a legacy for them. I want to show them that we can be entrepreneurs. You don't have to just go to college and get a job. You know, that doesn't have to be the only lane you go. You can go the entrepreneurship route and still be successful. So I want to just make that example for my family as well and my children.
Man, this is so beautiful. I love that your energy and your spirit. Of course, you know, I only know it from one side as a father, but from a mother's aspect, you want to do so much more to leave that legacy and create something that they can see, and I'm sure they can enjoy as well, right?
They love it. They ask me when they wake up in the morning. They're like, "Mommy, can we get treats?" I'm like, "You can't eat treats now, no."
Well, you got a cereal bar.
That's true.
Don't they didn't hear that. They didn't hear that. I'm not going. Don't let me be the bad influencing uncle.
No, yeah, they love them. They see my logo, and it warms my heart a lot because, you know, they see my logo and they be like, "That's mommy," and then they'll see a treat and they be like, "That's mommy," but it's not my face, but they know that symbolizes me. So they'll just be like, "Praise be to Allah, I'm actually doing something that's making them happy. It brings them joy."
That's what's up. And so, yeah, I love your logo. Tell us, describe this logo because it has desserts on there, and I see a little heart. Is that? Yeah. But it's in the shape of a cherry. It's like a cherry heart. Go talk about this.
Yes, well, you know, everybody always has cakes and cookies and cupcakes. Like, there's always those kind of logos. So I reached out to this lady and I asked her, could she make me a Rice Krispie treat? So she actually used, like, if you look really close at the treat, it has little rice in it. And she put a cherry on top, but made it a heart because it's a sweet shop. So she was like, "You're so sweet." And pink is my favorite color, so hands down it had to be pink in there. So, yeah, that's how that came about.
Yeah, beautiful. That's a great logo. I'm gonna post it in the comment section so people can see this logo, and I'm gonna post the website. They can go to the logo on the website and also, of course, see your great treats on there. So tell us about some of the flavors that you have, because it's just not one flavor, right?
Right. Well, I have two different lines. I have the regular line, and I just recently dropped the cereal bar. So in the regular line, I have plain, which is just the regular Rice Krispie treat with no different flavors. And then I have a strawberry crunch.
Ooh, come on now.
I have milk and cookies. I have candy explosion, which is M&Ms. And then I have a rainbow dust one, and it's made with vegan sprinkles. It's just like, it's kind of like a birthday cake taste, but I just called it rainbow dust. And then I have hot cocoa chip, and that's filled with good chocolate chips. And then with my cereal line, the cereal bar, I have Fruity Pebbles, which I call Rainbow Crunch. And then we have Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I call that Cinnamon Crunch. And then we have the Cocoa Krispies, the chocolate Rice Krispies. And then we have the Fruit Loops, but I call it Cutie Loops. So,
man, come on! I need a variety pack. Rhonda said she just went to your IG page, and she loves the logo as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. I run I'm getting all of that, and Ramadan. We're at the end of Ramadan, so I don't have to wait until late in the evening. So tell us, what's the difference between the regular Rice Krispie treat and the cereal bar? Is it longer? Is it shaped like the regular cereal bars you see in the store? And how is it a little different?
Well, you mean like the cereal in the store, or my two lines?
Your two lines.
Oh, well, the cereal bar is just like your favorite cereals, and it just those flavors in itself.
I got you.
So, and then the regular line, I just made like gourmet flavors, like the strawberry crunch. That's everybody's favorite.
Yes.
But if you ever had the strawberry crunch ice cream bar?
Yes.
That's what it's based off of.
A
So
strawberry shortcake?
yeah, the
Come
strawberry.
on now, quit playing.
Yeah, so I use organic strawberries and cookies, and I just created my own mixture myself. So not I have no preservatives or anything in them. So yeah, I just hand make them. I make them with a lot of love. I put a lot of focus into making my treats to make them perfect. So yeah, that's the difference between the two. The cereal bar is more fun and it's just colorful.
Mm-hmm.
And those pictures, shout out to Jay Kareem. He definitely did an amazing
Man,
job.
he's an amazing photographer.
Yes, and the experience was amazing. He makes you feel comfortable because I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to. It was a great experience. So yeah.
Man, that's right. Shout out to Jay Kareem. I love his photography, and I look forward to seeing. I haven't. Do you post some of the pictures on your Instagram page?
Yes, sir. It's on my Instagram and on my
Okay.
website.
All right, great. So, and of course, we have your Instagram page up under your name here, and so tell us about where you want to go with this, right? What is this legacy going to look like that you're creating and building for your family?
Well, I really, really, really desire to have vending machines of Illy Sweet Shop all around Chicago and inshallah all around the world. That's my goal, is to just have a plethora of vending machines displaying Illy Sweet Shop, giving everybody a treat that they don't have to feel guilty about, you know? So
Right.
that's I see in my future. That's what I see. You know, because of COVID and everything that's going on in the world, you know, stores aren't really open like that. So I want something where it's convenient for you. If you walking down the street, you want a treat, there goes the vending machine right there. So that's the goal.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love that. So you could be you thinking about on the street, and then of course in places where people are going, like Walmarts or whatever stores people are frequent, they can find you in there. That's excellent.
Anywhere, like anywhere I can get them, that's what they're gonna be.
That's what I'm talking about. So now this is the other question, right?
Okay.
You started in 2017, and so you definitely have gone beyond that trial period, right? Most businesses don't get past 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? So now, and you did this in the midst of COVID. Your second year, your third year was during the pandemic, right? So go ahead.
No, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Oh, so I was gonna say what keeps you going, because all of us who are entrepreneurs we know despite how people post stuff on Instagram and Facebook, look like they always flossing and doing well. There are down times. And what do you do to keep yourself going during the down times that is inevitable, but some people can't weather those down times?
Yeah. Well, I always think about mainly my children. I know I keep saying that, but I really think about my children, because when I started it, I kept stopping. I would always stop, but because I always was pregnant. Like I kept having more babies. So I'm like, okay, I have to stop again. So with my last son, I had him in November of 2019. I was like, I have to do this. Like I cannot be that person that's not consistent. And then with trials, like I would just pray and ask God to just bless me to do it, keep going, just to keep going, because I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to be a quitter. And it's very, very hard, but hard work pays off in the end. So I just keep that in mind, and I just keep it moving, keep it going.
Man, that's excellent. And we really appreciate you coming on. Tell us, one, how people can get in touch with you, where do they go to order, and what are some of, do you have any packages, and tell people how much the different products cost.
Okay. Well, you can definitely keep up with me on Instagram and Facebook. I have both, and I have a TikTok, so I'm on there as well. Everything is the same handle at Illy Sweet Shop. And then you can shop at illysweetshop.com, and I have under the sweet treats and the cereal bar. So whichever one you want to pick, you can choose that way, and everything is available. The prices range from $15 to $40, and I offer 3 packages. I offer the smooch, the sweetie and the sweetheart. The smooch is you get 3 treats but 1 flavor. The sweetie you get 2 flavors and 6 treats, and the sweetheart you get 9 treats and 3 flavors. So those are the varieties for each line that I offer. So they range between $15 and $40.
Man, I love it. And so, and again, you mentioned this earlier, but I want to make sure that people understand this who are not Muslim.
Mhm.
Explain halal, because of course there are a lot of people who don't eat pork,
Yeah.
and they still, even though they're not Muslim, they may be staying away from those treats because they think it's pork in them.
Yes. Well, with halal, it's non-pork. They're made with either fish gelatin or they're made with beef gelatin. So it's no pork, and it's clean. It's there. Everything is done in the name of Allah. So everything is clean. Everything is natural. I have no preservatives in anything. So it's a guilt-free treat.
I love it. So I'm gonna take you up on that, because if I eat 50 of them, is it still gonna be guilt free?
No, it won't be that good.
No, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna give people a review when I get some, and hopefully by the next show we'll be able to talk about it some more. But man, I applaud you. I applaud that entrepreneurial spirit that you have, the legacy that you're building for the children. Give your husband my love, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon. When you're on that next level, and we're talking about how people can walk out their house after listening to the show and go up the street and get them.
Thank you so much for having me. It's truly
Absolutely. Anything you want to say in closing?
No, just shop, you guys. Support Black business. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm very, very grateful and humble. Thank you.
That's right. That's right. And matter of fact, and also congratulations on being selected as the business of the week on the Black Muslim Business Directory. So shout out. Wishing you many more continued accolades and levels of success.
Thank you so much.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
All right, brothers and sisters, man, that was our little sister doing it big, and we appreciate her for man, just making it happen. So let me see here. I need to move this this big one. Where we at? I need to move this off my head. This I'm gonna scrunch down a little bit. Oh, there it is. Nope, there we go. All right, so brothers, we have about 5 more minutes, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. I tell you, man, I always try to deliver and have some amazing people for you all to talk to. And at the beginning of the show, we were talking about the home buying process. I want to make sure that I close out that that discussion and that process, right? Because many people are looking at how to purchase a home and what is the process. So the first thing you do, you find you a realtor who can help organize all the team members that you're going to need in order to make this this deal happen, right? And once you do that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to connect with a loan officer who can help you figure out. And this could be a bank. It could be, you know, a loan company. You got guarantee rate. You got all the banks out there, right? You got to figure out, you know, what is the best option for you. Of course, if you come to me, we got a few people to help you figure that out. I got about 3 or 4 people in each area that I can refer you to, and that can help get that process done for you. Right. The reason you need that loan officer or the bank is so that you can figure out what you can afford and what you're going to be able to purchase, how much that the house is going to be worth that you're looking for, how much it's going to cost. Right. And you can right now kind of figure out what you can afford in terms of a house. Right. The first thing you're going to look at is what is your household income. You know, if it's a family or your individual income. Whoever's going to be the primary lenders, right? If it's a couple, of course, what is your household income? And then you want to times that household income times 2.5, right? So let's say, for example, if you If your household income is $60,000, right, then $60,000 times 2.5 equals $150,000. That's the house you're going to be looking at purchasing in around that price range, $150,000 house. Now, once we know, now you're going to come back to the real estate professional, the realtor. Once you know what price it is that you're going to be purchasing this house, then now we can start searching for houses in that particular price range. And, let's say if your max is 150, then we might do a search for anything between 100 and 150,000, but it really depends. It really don't want that big of a gap, but it depends on what your specific needs and concerns are. So that's when we'll do a buyer consultation, right? And we're going to sit down with you and ask you, it's going to ask you a bunch of questions, right? So that we can hone in on the house that is perfect for you. And then we may have about 10, 15 houses we're going to look at that you can whittle it down to what is the best one. And we're going to tell you, listen, if you think this house is the best one, there are other people who think it's the best one. And especially right now with it being a buyer's market, once you find that house that fits most of what you want, then it's time to go ahead and put that bid in and put that contract in, that offer in, so that you can get that house. So now once the offer is in and it's accepted, then we're going to do an inspection. Right, we're going to send a professional inspector out so that they can look through the home and make sure that everything is what it is, make sure there are no structural damages that we're unaware of, anything else that could be a problem. And then potentially that will be a discussion with the seller about what that, a negotiation on price, which right now it's very hard to do it because it's a seller's market. But in the end, that may be negotiation. Right. Then once you do that, then and they accept it, then we're going to make sure that we go through a title company to make sure that there are no liens or anything, make sure the house is sellable. And then you basically will get the keys to the house if everything is moving forward. Now, of course, that's a simplified version. There's some other details that we go through when we sit down and talk to you. But that's the gist of it. Some basic things you need to know about purchasing a home, and understand that your credit. Listen, there are people that are getting FHA loans with loan. I was talking to a lender this morning with a 580 credit score, right? So the opportunities to get that even with not great credit to get that loan is there right now. So with that, brothers and sisters, I want you to know that is the end of the show today. You've been your host, Touré Muhammad. I'm your digital marketing and content strategist and your realtor here to serve you and to help you in any way possible. Never forget that as long as I got a bowl of bean soup, you've got half. Peace.
WIFTBPM.
You see me, you see.